Hello everyone and welcome to a new video from Your Overwatch. I'm Eddie the Chump and today we'll be covering 5 tips concerning the new upcoming competitive season. There are a lot of changes afoot, so we compiled this list of tips we feel are absolute need-to-know essentials for doing well. Ana Nano change. A major change from Season 2 is that Ana can't simply carry from the support position because of the dominance of Nano Boost. Ana Nano no longer has Speed Boost. It will now require more setup to be as devastating as its Beyblade heyday. A Lucio's Speed Boost in conjunction with a Nanoed Reaper, for example, is how he'll be able to chase everything down, instead of being able to do it himself. It's not bad at all, but it isn't the one-stop shop automatic teamfight winner it once was. As such, she will still be a very viable support option, if for nothing else than her incredible healing potential. Also, there will never be a time where a well-placed biotic nade on the enemy team prohibiting them from healing will not have value. But there are other ways of running support against a Nano setup now. In particular, teams with a lot of crowd control and discord can handle this setup more effectively now. So if you find yourself in solo queue running Ana and not having the same game-changing impact you once did, this is why. You'll have to learn to leverage her other tools more effectively if you want to continue to get high value from her. Improved Soldier 76. Soldier 76 will be more prominent in the meta, especially in solo queue. Soldier is very reliable damage, and has been improved as a target for Nano. Likewise, he's excellent at exploiting Discord, as it changes him from reliable sustained damage into the Terminator. He's still less useful against organised teams, where more focused but harder DPS is often required to do a specific tactical task, but he is definitely more viable, and you'll be sure to see a lot of him in Season 3. This means you need to understand why and where he's useful, and how you can best deal with the threat he can pose. Soldier is strong for bulk damage on larger targets at a distance. He can melt a Rhine shield or a moon-sized Winston's head if he's not careful. He can zone the air against Pharah and sustain fairly well against flanks. However, he doesn't specialise in any of these roles, which is his biggest weakness. He's much better now, but lacks the instant burst of Reaper, the reliable crowd control insta-kill of Hog/McCree, or the mobility of other heroes. With that being the case, in order to beat soldiers in Season 3 you have a few options. One is to punish his lack of mobility. Flying a diva into his face can remove his ranged threat altogether, and buy time for your team to close in. Not to mention, if she gets her boop off, her spread damage can burst him down and force him to run away even further. Dueling him with a DPS will be dependent on your personal skill set. If you can get in very close abruptly, Reaper or Tracer's burst can win. Widow can out-position him and catch him unaware with her buffs, and though McCree might look like the lesser hit scan now, his shots don't have spread, so perfect accuracy will still win a medium to close range duel versus Soldier. The Pharah and Genji battle is more about the speed and timing of your abilities than anything. He has the tools to duel you, but a concise pounce attack is what he fears. Just don't poke at range because he's favoured there. Ultimate charge rates. Because of slower ultimate charge rates, the timings of when people have them is different than Season 2. Now, ultimates for different heroes can be more staggered, and that opens up more possibilities. Now you can be opportunistic with your ult usage. Tracer's Pulse Bomb is a very good example of this. Or if you as Lucio have charged your ultimate fast, you can almost guarantee that you have an edge in the next fight, so it might be worth using it. We've made videos talking about this in a more specific context, but the short version is this. Because all ultimates charge slower in Season 3, getting good ultimate value is now absolutely crucial to winning games. A team that exploits their ults more effectively than their opponents will win more often, it's as simple as that. Less ultimates doesn't mean they're less relevant, rather the opposite is true. They're just as important, but the proper execution of them is intensified. However, because more teamfights occur without major ultimate investment, you'll have to get used to winning through straight good play and not relying on easily farmed ultimate stacks. It sounds like those things are contradictory and mutually exclusive, but they're not. They're both true. More of the match will be determined by standard play, but when ultimates are deployed, they're potentially even more devastating and decisive. In short, the game got harder. Because of this, team comps don't need to set up for ult stacks as much as they used to, so it enables some picks that weren't as viable before. Lucio nerf. Lucio is no longer capable of viably healing tanks on his own. He's still essential to a lot of basic strategy because of his speed boost, but he is a poor option for solo heals because of his nerf. You need to be mindful of this when constructing comps and take appropriate measures for keeping your tanks alive. Good tank play dictates so much of the pace of Overwatch that if this detail is overlooked, you can find yourself failing to sustain vital pushes. Like the other tips present here, this one is reminding you to not just assume making the same picks as Season 2 2 will always work. The effect of Lucio's change means that the support category is more dynamic, with less obvious auto picks, as many of the combos can be effective. More viable combos means more mid-round adjustments to what your opponents are doing. State of Flux. Be mindful of potentially meta-changing adjustments to Sombra and Symmetra. Both of these heroes are in a state of flux. Sombra can currently hack through shields on the PTR. If that goes live into Season 3, you need to be aware of the dangers of running a Rhine-based setup without potentially having an answer. Likewise, Symmetra has had a complete rework in the PTR, and she could present unexpected challenges to the uninformed. As a more general tip in this vein, keeping up to date with how heroes are adjusted is always a good idea, as one of the key pieces of knowledge about a metagame is how small changes can have massive unforeseen impacts. Most people think of a game's meta as static, but in truth it shifts and changes along with any adjustments made to any single hero. If McCree had his damage over range buffed, for example, that would have a huge impact not only on how people played him, but what tactics and tools people would use to counter him. It really is a butterfly effect, and staying up to date with this information, as and when it comes, is key to doing well on an ongoing basis. We're in the most vibrant meta ever in this new season by our estimation. It has the most broad viability that we've seen up until this point, which is a healthy place for the game to be, but it's also a difficult one, as it will strain your game knowledge beyond what was required in the previous seasons, testing your flexibility and ability to read the game. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like. If you'd like us to talk about anything specific, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Also, please follow the Your Overwatch Twitter. It's where you can find updates about new videos and streams. I've been Eddie the Chump, and until next time.